few more sausage patties, and we've got not very realistic colors, but I'm hoping I'll still kind of be able to see the letters through this by doing it this way. I may not even paint letter B. We'll see. Okay, so I went back through and drilled that out again. I noticed, you know, typically I want my baits to sink this way. I want this one to kind of set nose up and be a little bit more of a wake bait. So between it needing more weight to be stable and everything else, I think I'm just going to add a little bit more to the back part. We'll go test it again. Okay. Lead hole filled. Added another 0.1 ounces, roughly. Anybody else have this problem? You need like 3 drops of lead, and by the time your lead pot heats up and then it leaks, you get like 9 million drops of lead instead of 4. I don't know, this thing's pretty old. It was generously given to me by a friend of mine named Bill, and I can't thank Bill enough for it. Because it's produced a lot of bait so far, but yeah, if anyone has suggestions, that'd be fantastic. Okay, we're back with the test ponds. Had to throw that guy some more, just due to the fact that I was catching fish on it earlier. We're really here to see how the alterations to the, I think we're gonna call it the sausage patty. Leave comments below if you like that. Well, doesn't matter. I think we're gonna call it sausage patty, so hopefully you like it. Leave comments. But lure finding mission. There's a rapala in that bush. Let's see if I can get it. It ain't tore up or nothing. Big size reference. Yep. Alright, so this is test bait A of the sausage patty. This is the first batch of adjustments I made. I could use a little bit more weight maybe, and I think it'd be really good. I wanted this to be kind of a floating wake bait, which is sitting a little high in the water for that, but by the time, if it worked, I was gonna, you know, paint it and put another clear coat on it. It would have been about right. It's kind of interesting little shallow water square bill kind of action too. A little bit more weight in the belly would probably make it a really stable, odd shaped square bill, but it definitely doesn't seem to be rolling over as bad as it was before. So good adjustments. Actually looks fairly decent. Well, I just don't think this is gonna work. You know, I'm probably gonna have to come back to this bait. When I get into soft plastics, I may make a internal harness bait with this kind of same size mold. Actually, that's swimming. All I had to do was give up on it, and all of a sudden it started swimming like a fish. I don't know, I could probably do a couple of things, change the way the connections are on this. I built this bait as an experiment. Again, it's a pen through design, so there's one little pen holding that together, but you can see there's not a lot of freedom of movement because of that. So it's got a really tight action. It doesn't really look terrible, but it doesn't really do it for me. It wants to blow out, it wants to turn on its side. then it doesn't really seem like that's how a fish would swim to me. So we'll try bait number C. See how that goes, but yep, I'm gonna say these guys probably aren't the best. But now that that's wet, you can really see the pearlescent finish I put over just a plain tan resin. I think that looks pretty good. What do you guys think?
So that's your lucky one.
I hope so. This is actually the one I feel like should swim the best out of them. It's got a little bit more range of motion. I made it a little bit bigger. I made it a little bit heavier. So we'll see. If this one doesn't work though, probably gonna have to take a break from it. And you know, a lot of times this is where I say don't get frustrated if you're failing with something, because literally the mouse bait that I made, the cheddar thief, fixed the shad bait. So I'm sure I'll make another bait somewhere that will teach me what I'm doing wrong here. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe it's just a bad design. There's probably a reason that baits aren't shaped this way. They don't swim very good. Ooh, that's a slow floater. It's a good test color, you can see it good. Actually, this one looks pretty fishable, actually. So I'll have to go back to the laboratory. I wrote down all the different changes I made with densities and how much lead I put on them, things of that sort. Oh no, look at this. We didn't fail. This one looks like all hope is lost. A bright yellow fish totally redeems you. Doesn't really look like anything a fish would eat right now, for sure. Way to go, bait C. Way to go. Well, the sausage patty finally swam right. I think there's a reason that they don't make square bill crankbaits this shape in general. But I did get it to swim right. And you can hear in the underwater footage, it's got a nice one knock clack sound to it as it's swimming along. It had a very slow float back to the surface, which was kind of what I was hoping for. On the one that was a little bit too buoyant, you know, I thought about making this a wake bait at first. It's just not very realistic to me to have a bluegill sticking up this far out of the water. Not that something wouldn't come up and eat it eventually, but I just feel like there's other baits for that application that would work better. So I was really trying to make a shallow water option to run through brush and stuff like that. This bait does okay. I think once it's painted up and looks more like a bluegill, it might be more effective, but I'm not going to put that much more time into this bait, honestly. I think it's something that I learned what I needed to about a pin through out of it. Honestly, if you're going to make a pin through bait, it needs to be a bigger bait, in my opinion. You got to have plenty of room for these connections. I don't know if you can see up in there. That was the biggest connections I made, and it has a little bit of action on its own, so it's got a secondary action. That's important. So let's talk about, from the lure standpoint, the attracting and triggering qualities. Well, the shape of this is very much like a small bluegill. It's got that short, squatty shape. It's not a giant bluegill, you know, it's not a pork chop, but it'd be worth eating. There's the ability to vary your retrieves with this too. I had the best results with this with kind of a medium, slow, constant retrieve on my crankbait rod, which is a 7'1" or 2" Denali. covert inshore medium action, very soft action crankbait rod. I don't know if that's what it's designed for, but that's what I use it for. And I've got it paired up with a 7.1 Shimano something another. And with that 7.1 reel, I had to be careful not to blow it out. But I could reel it pretty constant. I could do reel twitches. I could pump the rod and make this thing kind of dart around and hunt and change directions. So this bait does have a lot of triggering aspects to it too, and that it is kind of a natural shape. It's compact. You know, it does have triggering marks, and that it would have gill flaps on it. It would have the eyeballs on it. Obviously, it's going to look like a bluegill. It's streamlined in shape. It looks like a fish. But really, it's, again, that erratic action where it'll kind of dart off in different directions. And then you can pause it, and it's a very slow rising bait. So there's a lot of triggering aspects to this bait, but I feel like there's a lot of other baits that would work better in the same application. So we're not going to spend much more time on it. I hope you enjoyed watching the process of building this and, you know, learning how to do a pen through a little bit and seeing maybe if that's something you want to experiment. I hope that some of you are thinking about getting into making lures, or you already do, and to push yourself if you're going to experiment, because I keep finding the more I try to do things I've never done before with this, the better stuff turns out. So thank you all very much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Thank you for supporting Matt the Baiter and Bass Food Baits. And yeah, I can't wait to show you what's coming. Got some exciting news coming up in the very near future, so stay tuned for that. We will see you soon. Thank you again for watching. Tell your friends, subscribe, like, social media things. We appreciate you. Thanks a lot. You gonna throw that away since someone else didn't bother to?
I guess I could be a good citizen.
Not a kid. I like the spirit. Need more of that in today's world.
Circle of life, man. Circle of life.
It's just a circle can.